Alright guys, how's she going today? So I'll give you guys a little update video here. She's only about 70 out with a slight northeastern breeze kind of thing going on. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's mostly sunny anyway. We had a little storm that rolled by yesterday. I think around 9 o'clock, at night. I got a little video of it, so if I remember, maybe I'll post it on this video too, but it's just like a minute-long video, but it wasn't really much for thunder. We didn't hardly get any rain out of it. It's just not even enough to dampen anything, so what are you going to do? But I don't know, we had a half-inch of rain a few days ago, and we're still trying to dry out a little bit from that, but we needed it. We needed the half-inch of rain, so there ain't no complaining there. So, but yeah. So, and I will be giving you guys a hay update pretty quick here. I think I did one. Well, yeah, I tried to do one last night, but I guess once the sun gets below the tree lines, well, then it just goes straight to being dark out. So this videos were kind of pointless because it was getting too dark, and then the mosquitoes were bothering me, and there was no wind. There was like a 0 mile an hour wind, so kind of makes things miserable. But I like doing it kind of late in the evening too. So, because the sun's not in the way then, but yeah, whatever. So, yeah, so we're looking forward to a hay update video. I know everybody else is already out cutting their hay and baling and moving hay and stuff like that, but I think our hay is pretty much done growing. It's not going to grow much more than this unless we got a second cutting or something, but if it would grow back to get a second cutting, that'd be pretty badass, but I don't think we're going to get that. So, but like I said, we'll do a hay update video on that when I get the chance. I got the other, I ordered the LT sticker for the Tahoe. I don't think I talked about it, and I can't remember, but I ordered another LT sticker for the back of the Tahoe for the lift gate, because I wanted one on the back too. I think from the factory it's supposed to have that eco fuel bullshit sticker on it, but I don't want that sticker on there. I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to have that or not, because it's just a regular Tahoe, but it's been a little upgraded a little bit more, to be a police car. So I don't know, but I put an LT sticker there instead of a whatever is supposed to be there from the factory. But when I put it on the first time, I made an oopsie and pretty much fricked it up. So, like, the spacing on the letters was perfect, because you could use that paper that they have sticking to it. But I didn't get the gap, the distance between everything, to the way I had the Tahoe stickers on the back on the liftgate too. So I took the measurements off of that after I fricked up and had to redo it. Well, unfortunately, the glue that they put on there from when the stickers are being built, it's a one-time use only. So if you put them on wrong and you got to peel them back off, well, then you wreck that glue. So luckily I had some Gorilla Glue, and that stuff's really good. I've been using that for a lot of stuff, and I've been pretty happy with it. So there's no reason why I couldn't work for a LT sticker. That should be. I only did one letter at a time, because just how I had to tape it on there to keep it from moving, and wanted to make sure it was perfect, one letter at a time, even though it was only 2 letters, but I wanted to make sure it's perfect. And I think I got it I think it's about 99% where it should be. It's not 100%, because it is slightly more to the left than it should be. It should be a little bit more to the right, just by like a tiny bit, because I measured it with a tape measure, and it was off just a wee bit. So, I mean, from a distance, you're not going to really be able to tell that. So, unless you went up there with a tape measure and measured it. But, like I said, it's only off by a wee bit, so it ain't gonna matter. But the problem was that when I put it on the first time, it was too low. compared to the rest of the Tahoe stickers that were on the tailgate. So I think it was supposed to be 2.5 inches, I think, from the bottom of the letters to where the tailgate starts to bend down. That's how they obviously formed that gate. There's supposed to be a slight bend there. There's a crease there. And it's supposed to be, I believe, 2.5 inches, you know, from that. Like, there's supposed to be that 2.5 inch gap. I don't know if that's a factory thing or not. That's just what I did when I put those Tahoe stickers on. So I wanted to gauge it off of that to make sure that it was, you know, at least close to what I have done, so that at least it, you know, half-assed matched, you know, looked good. So the first time I put them on, I was way off. I like only had like a 1/2 inch of gap, so I don't know how the hell I did that, but unfortunately I had to rip them back off, which wrecked the glue. Luckily I had my own glue. Redid all the measuring and stuff again and stuff, and then once I got the L on, because I kind of did it backwards. I started with the letter L to get that correct, and then since I didn't have that piece of paper to give me the true distance between the letters, I had to measure off the other LT stickers to get that gap right. Now, it was tricky at first, but you really had to make sure you got it right, because, I mean, Gorilla Glue takes a while to cure, but once that stuff cures, it gets really hard, and there's no moving it. The only way you're getting through it again is you have to cut the old stuff off. So I figured, well, do it once, measure it like 50 million times, and do it once and be done with it. Well, you know, so, but they should be done tonight. Or I did the L yesterday evening, so it should be 100% cured by tonight, and then I'm done. And if I really wanted to get stupid, I guess I could throw a Tahoe and an LT sticker in the cab somewhere, you know, like on the dashboard or something crazy like that. But I don't think I'm going to do that. It's way too much chrome, then it just looks stupid. But, you know, I guess if you wanted to do that, you could. It's not illegal or anything stupid like that. It's just, you know, it makes it look like you're obsessed with badging and stuff, which, depending on what the badges look like, yeah, I probably would add another one, you know, maybe like a custom one or something in the dash. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to bother. But for the outside, the factory ones, that's done. That is 100% done now. They look good. It makes the Tahoe look a million times better. Of course, mother doesn't care for it, which I understand, because she would rather have a complete blacked out vehicle, because she likes black. So, and I like black too, but I don't know if I want to go for a full black out vehicle, you know. So that's why I went with those rims that had some black in it and some chrome to kind of, you know, give it a mixture of both, and then put the chrome badges on. I could put the blacked out badges on, but then nobody's going to really know that they're there, because they match the paint job, so you have to be right up on them to even read it. And I didn't want that. There was no sense then, you know. I wanted the chrome ones, and that's what I did. So, yeah. So other than that, then the Tahoe is pretty much done. All I got left to do is get the brush guard put on the front, which probably won't be until a wintertime thing. And then get the airbags fixed. And then it should be ready to hit the road. There's nothing else left to really do to it. I mean, I think I could get a few more years out of those tires. So I'm not really thinking I'm getting new tires. And if I do get new tires, I'm going to probably go with something a little more aggressive, like a truck look, you know, just something that looks good, you know, not like a normal street tire. Maybe something that's got a little bit of a truck scream to it, you know, but not something overly crazily done, you know, just something to kind of make it my own rig, you know. That's what I'm doing. I'm making it my rig. I ain't making it for somebody else. This is mine. I'm going to do it my way. If you guys have any ideas, throw them at me. That's fine. I'm not saying I'm going to do them, but it'd be interesting to know what you guys would probably do to a Tahoe. So, well, this is what I'm going to do to it. So, oh, no, then I'd have to add the CB radio and stuff to that, but that can be done anytime. It ain't going to matter. So, other than that, that's going to be it. It's just going to be to fix the airbags, get the brush guard put on the front, get the CB radio installed. I think that's it. After that, it's ready. So, but then I'm thinking probably maybe in a couple of years, I might take it to a body shop. So I don't know if anyone around here does that kind of stuff or not, but maybe try to save the hood and the fender. I noticed the hood's got some bubbling in the paint, which is a sign of rust. So I think if there's a body shop around here that can blast the rust off and repaint the hood and the front fenders. The rear fenders are getting that way now too, but I think if we do the hood and the front fenders for now, it would look 50% better. And I'm trying to save the body from rusting out, so because it's only surface rust at the time. So if it's only just surface rust, you can save it. The only time it's not savable, you would have to cut it out and patch it, is when you got actually rust holes going through it. After if you're into that, if you're that far into it, then you're better off just getting a whole new fender and hood and whatever shot. You'd have to completely replace it with all new stuff. So, or take it to a really good body shop that knows what the fuck they're doing. So, but I think if I could take it to a body shop, they just sandblast the hood and the fenders, and then repaint it all, it would look like brand new. And plus, that would get rid of a lot of the scratches and dings in the hood and the fenders. So, and that's just from normal wear and tear. So, do that, and it would look like almost like a brand new Blazer again. And then have to do the rear ones at some point, which would get even more expensive because they're pretty big panels. But that, and then I think the doors would have to get some touch-up paint thrown on them. You wouldn't have to completely repaint the doors. Just get some touch-up paint. Fill in the scratches and whatever. It'd be pretty good. It'd be a damn good rig then. So, but yeah. So other than that Tahoe's going to be ready to go. Just doing the painting and stuff. That's just to make it look better and show that obviously I care about it, which I do. It's obviously going to be my daily rig. So it's not going to replace my four-wheeler obviously, because I can't do certain jobs with it with the Tahoe, but I can do them with the four-wheeler, like run the sprayer. So, and we're going to get into that. The voltage regulator thing hasn't shown up yet. I don't know when that's going to be showing up because they just kind of shipped it. So it's going to be a few days yet on that. I ordered some nozzles for the sprayer. I ordered 3, but I only have 1 that's destroyed. But I'm probably going to bust more. So yeah. So, but anyways, I was going to make a video here on this. This is the chemical that I've been using. I went to the hardware today to get a hose end for like a garden hose. I had to get I think it's a female end. I think I cut all these off, but the ends that go on these hoses, garden hoses, I need the one that, yeah, I think this is the female end, the one that's got the twisty end on it, or the rotating end. I needed a new one of these, because the ones that you get now are just the clamp-on ones, which is perfectly fine. They work perfectly fine. This is my second one now, because I made up a hose for Mother in the wintertime when she washes kitty litter pans or something, She usually does it right up against the house, and then it freezes against the house, the water, and I think it pushes on the concrete, and then when it melts, it leaks into the basement. So I made up a 6-foot section of hose to connect so she could get away from the house a little bit. But I had to put that one end on, and they're just a simple clamp on, and you're done. But I wanted to water the front yard, because the front yard's starting to kind of die off a little bit, because, I don't know, they're talking rain, but we'll see how much we get out of it. So I have a hose that's just dedicated to the front yard, and of course in my newer sprinkler that I got a couple years ago, but the end on it was bad. So I'm not really sure what was wrong with it. It was leaking, so there was no fixing it. I'm not really sure what happened to it. So I cut it off and put a new one on. That fixed that problem, but now the faucet there is leaking. I think the O-ring or something's going out. So I want to talk to my uncle about that, see if it's something he can fix, and if he knows what kind of parts I need, and then we'll go next week sometime or something, and then I'll go to the hardware again and get those O-rings or whatever, if he thinks he can fix it. Because I don't really want to hire a plumber to just fix a stinking faucet, you know, that we could probably do ourselves. But it's a million times better, because when that hose had that bad end on it, it was coming out like a river. So I was like, well, that's just a waste of water. And now come to find out that the faucet's also leaking too. So I tried tightening the jam nut on it to see if maybe that was the problem. Maybe the nut had just backed off a little bit. It's still perfectly tight. So I don't really know what its problem is. I'm thinking just there's a seal in there that's cracked and it's letting water go through. So if my uncle can fix it, then he can kind of tell me what we need, and I'll go get what they have, and he can try to fix it. So other than that, I don't know. But I went in there, kind of got caught off guard because I wasn't expecting this to be here, because it wasn't in there earlier on. So, but he had it in stock. This is the chemical that I use at my place and the farm. I don't think I've ever made a video on it. Just don't think I ever have. I don't know why, but this is the chemical that I've been buying, that I've been using at the farm and my yard, and it works. It takes about 2 weeks to fully kill weeds, depending on their size. And I don't know. This year I did spray some stinkweed, and it seemed to kill it. I don't know, because last year when I did it, it didn't do a damn thing to the stinkweeds, but this year it seemed to had killed them. So I don't know, maybe it's just, you know, the 1 quart for 25 gallons of water. Maybe it's probably stronger than it really needs to be, I guess, even for stinkweed. But because we have a milkweed, a stinkweed, a Canadian thistle, and a regular thistle problem. And then in my yard, I have a dandelion problem. So, and I sprayed my yard this year with this chemical, and yeah, it hurt them. It didn't kill them all, but I think you'd have to spray it twice, but they only recommend it usually once a year, I guess, depending on your rate. But I don't know, I think even once a year it would definitely put a hurting on them. But I'll show you here. Get some screws out of the way so they don't get stabbed. This is the stuff I've been buying. It's just, I don't know if you guys have this anywhere or not. I'm not sure if Canada has it. I don't know, I guess Route 6 you can tell me. You're the only Canadian viewer I have. So, but this is the stuff I've been buying. This is technically, this would probably be my second or third year now, I think, of using this, because I can get, depending on how much spraying I do, I can easily get about 2 years out of a 1 gallon jug. Okay, so got somebody racing around on a dirt bike. So, but this is the stuff I've been using for a couple of years, and for some reason I can't buy this online, but you can buy it. There's another kind like this, but it's just meant for, like, it's more designed for lawns. Like, it's I think it's more of a weaker setup than this. This is probably a little bit harder. But this stuff is designed for, well, I know it says it's designed for home as well, but it's also designed for farm and ranch. So I mean, you know, if you're a small rancher like we are, you can get away with this, and I've been getting away with it for a couple of years now. It looks like you can even spray this in corn, sorghum, and wheat. I think I tried it 1 year in corn, but then we ended up not getting any corn. And that wasn't because this killed it, it's just because it didn't come up. So I don't know if this would have killed corn or not. It says it's meant for corn, so I'm guessing it wouldn't kill the corn. Because I don't think there's any type of Roundup in this. This is just a completely different brand. So, but, yeah. So, this is what I bought. Now these are $36 for a jug. The other stuff that I was going to buy online was a little bit more, but then you had to pay for shipping and handling as well. So this stuff is technically cheaper than what was online, but now the stuff online was more suited for lawn, for yards. This is technically a little bit, meant more for farming, but you can still use it at home too, because it says that here. Probably just depends on what you have for a weed problem. So shouldn't have done it, but since I have such a hard time getting a hold of this stuff, even though apparently he says he sells it all the time, I bought 2 jugs of this stuff, and that's 36 times 2, and plus tax or whatever. So yeah, I paid a lot of money for this because you kind of never know when he's going to not sell it. There might be a year where he may not sell this stuff, and I like this stuff. And he says that a lot of his customers that come into the hardware, they buy this stuff as well, and they say positive stuff about it too, that it's really good. Yes, it is slow. It's not as fast as Roundup, but sometimes you don't really need speed. You just need to kill it. And if it takes a couple of weeks, well, so be it. As long as you know that, they're hurt and they're dying off. So, and I had just enough left in my last jug that I went and sprayed a section of the ex-mayor's field because there was a huge thistle problem in there. Because the whole field is, pretty covered with it. But I don't know, not all of them died. And I know some of them got chemical on them, but they didn't even get sick. So they're probably the ones that would probably need a second dose on them. But unless they just happen to get missed by a nozzle or something. Like I said, having a busted nozzle doesn't help because you're not getting true full coverage then. But that's why I was always trying to overlap a little bit to make up for what the nozzle wasn't doing. So, but I got nozzles coming to fix that. But I can't spray anyway because obviously Big Red's not charging the battery. So, but what are you gonna do? So, and come to find out, there are more thistles I could even had sprayed even in our field where the old hay, where the bales from last year sat. There's a bunch of thistles there, and I had probably about, I don't know, not quite 5 gallons left in the sprayer. And here I went and dumped it all out because I didn't know what to do with it. Well, come to find out, I could have went and sprayed them and would have taken care of them. So, but it's too late now. I don't want to be spraying hay fields, so late. Now if it was June, like maybe the first week of June, yeah, I'd still be out spraying and I wouldn't care. But once we get to like the later part of June and early July, I'm done. I'm done till after haying has been cut. Because I don't want, in the pastures I can spray during haying season. It doesn't matter. I'm more or less talking about like actual hay fields, that cut, get baled, and you feed that to your cows. I don't want to keep spraying chemical on it even while we're cutting hay, right? Because you don't want to give that to you don't want to give chemical to your cows and make them sick. So I don't know how long it would take for chemical to wear off, but that's why I always try to stop spraying the hay fields, sometime in June there. I would like to be done, just so then it at least has a month to, burn the chemical off and not have to worry about it. But, yeah. But after that, then I'll spray all I want. It doesn't matter. Especially after haying, once we get the hay cut off, well, then it seems like the weeds really like to grow in. So, But yeah, this is the stuff I like. You know, this is technically my second or third year using it. I used to use Roundup for lawns, but the problem with Roundup for lawns is that they don't make it in a 1 gallon jug in the mixable type. This stuff you have to measure and mix to water. The Roundup for lawns was already pre-made. So it came in it did come in a 1 gallon jug, but it was already pre-mixed, and it had its own little powered nozzle on it, I guess depending on which one you went with. But it had its own built-in sprayer in it, so it's not like this, you know. So Roundup for lawns worked really good. I used that for a year and got really good results out of it. It didn't hurt the damn grass, but yet it burned the shit out of the weeds. But they don't make it. If Roundup would make Roundup for lawns in a 1 gallon jug and in the mixable kind that you can mix with water, so you can make 25 gallons worth, I would buy that then. But I've been getting pretty good results with this stuff, so I think I'm just going to keep rolling on with it for a while. And this is the stuff that I thought you had to have a license for in the state of Minnesota to sell it. Come to find out, I misread it. That's not true. There are some states, yes, that do require a license. Minnesota is not on that license, or it's not on that list. So, you know, you can sell this stuff. If you're a hardware store or whatever, you can sell this and whatever, you know, you can do it. He even said to the guy at the hardware, he said, well, I never had no issues getting that. But I think it was because when I first read it for the first time, I misread it and thought that it said Minnesota, but it really said something else. So, as long as, the hardware store guy says that this stuff sells really quick. Well, I can see why. This is some pretty good stuff. It's a little bit weaker than Roundup, but you can overcome that by making your mix heavier. Use a heavier volume of this compared to water. You don't want it watered down. You want a heavier chemical. So less water and more chemical would give you a stronger kill rate. You know. Now if you had some really, really tiny baby weeds, you could probably more or less get away with just more water than chemical. You know, do a less, you know, not such a heavy chemical mix. So, but since I usually make 25 gallons at one time, it seems like 1 quart is more than enough. It might even be overkill. I don't know. I could try it and back it down to half a quart for 25 gallons and go spray some weeds and see what happens. But since I know that 1 quart takes care of it and pretty much burns every weed that there is, it doesn't burn them all, but it burns a damn good chunk of them. Again, that could be just because the nozzle was fucked up and, you know, that weed just didn't get any chemical on it. So, or didn't get enough. But I can't really spray because obviously Big Red's battery would not last. So, yeah. Well, that part should be here in the next few days, and then we'll fix that, and then hopefully that will fix my charging issue, and then if we have to, well then we'll start spraying again. So, but since he had this chemical in stock, and he had two jugs of it, I just grabbed them both. So, yeah, I'll probably get maybe 2 years out of this too. Again, depending on how much spraying I do. I usually don't usually spray like a whole entire field. I just kind of spot spray the real heavy areas, and then that's it. I don't spray all the, or if it's got like one thistle or something, I usually don't really spray it because 1, I probably don't even see it. And 2, it's just not really worth it. Unless it's already a really big weed and I can see it, then I'll spray it. But I got to get into that rental piece over there and check for Canadian thistle, because I imagine that's just packed with Canadian thistle, but I'm going to go in with Roundup for lawn or Roundup grass and weed killer and spray that. So because that will burn everything up just quick. So I think I walked it about a month ago. I didn't see anything, but now would be the time to do it. And plus our cows are not in there right now because they're still in the ex-mayor's field. They almost have that mowed down to nothing now, but they're not complaining. So we're gonna keep them out there until there's nothing left, and then we'll close that up, and then put them in the little rental piece, and then the ex-mayor's field can grow back in again. As long as we keep getting rain like this, it shouldn't take too much to grow back then. Even if it grows back 3 inches or something, that'll still buy us some time. So, but yeah, if any of you guys have tried this chemical, I guess let me know. I don't know about you, Roosty Six, if you got the stuff up in Canada or not, but I don't know. I don't really know what you Canadians guys. I imagine you Canadian guys have most of what we have, but you guys may have a few things that we don't have, you know. So, but you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, I've been happy with that chemical. I mean, like I said, I've been using it for a couple of years now, and I've always gotten pretty good results out of it. Yes, it does take a couple of weeks to fully kill something, but that's all right. I'm not trying to set any speed records here or anything. It's just, as long as they die off, I'm all right with it. So, but other than that, then that's pretty much it. I just wanted to let you guys know, and figured I'd show you guys this chemical that I use. This is what I've been using the last couple of years, and yeah, I've been fairly happy with it. Yes, it's slower than Roundup, but I really can't find much for Roundup that, you know, that's to my liking, like this stuff, you know. So, I mean, Roundup for lawns is pretty much like this stuff, but the problem is that it's not the mixable kind. It's already pre-mixed. So, if I wanted to, let's say, use Roundup for lawns, but I wanted to, you know, use my 25-gallon sprayer. Well, you know how much chemical I would have to buy? I would have to buy, well, each one's a gallon, 25-gallon sprayer, so you'd probably need, like 25 bottles? Yeah, expensive. So, but if Roundup would make that lawn stuff in the mixable type of stuff like that, I'd probably run that through the sprayer, no problem. But as long as he keeps selling this stuff, I think I'm just going to stick with it, you know. And then, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Weed Be Gone. That's a much cheaper chemical, but that's also, you can also mix it like that, but it's in a much smaller bottle. I don't even know if they make it in the 1-gallon jugs. They might, but I don't know. Unless the last time I used it, it did shit all for me. It didn't work. So I was like, well, screw you. It's probably too weak of a mix for what I need, or, you know, because it was pre-mixed, but it wasn't the ideal stuff. So what are you gonna do? So, but the other thing I forgot to get too was more fuel for my saw. This is my last can down here. Whoops. Oh well. Yeah, speaking of the damn saw, me and this chainsaw got into a fight yesterday. What a nightmare that fucking was. Holy shit. I am missing some teeth on my chain, or some cutters. I have no clue where the hell they want, but I'm missing at least like 5 or 6 of them. So that probably explains why my chainsaw doesn't cut very well. I've sharpened the chains multiple times, or the cutters, and it cuts a little bit, but it's definitely slower than it should be. And then yesterday I went to go use it, the chainsaw. I must have flooded it, I guess, because it wouldn't crank. Well, the problem is it wouldn't burp. It's supposed to make that burping sound when you have it set to full choke, and then you keep cranking it till you hear the burp, which is where it almost wants to run, but it won't run. Then you're supposed to flip it to run, and then it would fire up on its own, but I didn't hear that. I don't know why, but I didn't hear it. And then I just kept pulling on it. I was like, well, what's going on here? It usually doesn't take that long to to get it to burp. So then I flipped it to run, tried to pull on it, nothing. And I must have spent an hour checking the spark plug. You know, I didn't know, maybe I lost spark or something. Checked the spark plug. It was all right. There was some fuel in the cylinder, but not a whole hell of a lot. But it was probably more than enough to stop it from wanting to spark. So I just said to hell with it. I put the chainsaw back on the shelf. I let it sit there overnight. I just went and cranked it up about half an hour ago, and it fired right up. So, I don't know. But I had a hell of a time with it. But it smoked for a little bit there, but it cleared up. So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to have to order a new chain, I guess, for that saw too. Because one, it's not cutting very well, and I'm missing teeth or cutters, and it's just getting wore out too. You can see there's a lot of slop in the little pins. So it's probably time for a new chain. And that's the original one to the saw when I bought it back in 2012 or whatever. So she's fairly old. So she's done a lot of cutting in her day. So it's probably time for a new chain, but whatever. But yeah, can't believe what a nightmare that was. But whatever. She runs now. So, but I just want to show you guys this. This is what I got here. I got two jugs of this stuff. So, this is what I've been using for the last couple of years, and I've been getting pretty good results out of it. So, and like I said, I mix 1 quart for every 25 gallons. And then it shows on here too that if you're going to use a much smaller sprayer, like maybe like a 2 gallon, it's got a thing in here to show you how many ounces to put with so many gallons of water. But there's nothing in there for a 25 gallon. They have stuff in there for the much smaller handheld sprayers, and then the much bigger sprayers, which are like the 100 gallon plus sprayers. They have nothing in between though. So I just started risking it and said, no, I'm just going to put in 1 full quart for 25 gallons, and it seems to be more than enough because it's killed everything I've sprayed pretty much. So, but probably go down it to half a quart and just see what the hell happens, you know, test it on a few weeds or something. But I don't know. So anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. Just want to let you guys know what's going on, and I got my favorite chemical back again because I didn't have any. I used up the last little bit that I had, and should be good now for a few years, for a couple of years anyway, depending on how much spraying I do. So, but what are you going to do? So, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So I guess I have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.